Yesterday's historic announcement of a pay equity settlement giving 55,000 care and support workers $2 billion extra over the next 5 years was welcomed by almost all in the sector, including, interestingly, those who'd previously opposed it all the way to the Supreme Court. But those outside the 55,000 include caregivers within families, and one of them is Cliff Robinson. Cliff is an 80-year-old pensioner who's cared for his disabled adult children single-handedly for almost 50 years and who led the campaign for family members who are primary caregivers to be paid. He says he's contacted the Human Rights Commission after being excluded from yesterday's pay equity settlement. Now, Cliff Robinson's children are 50-year-old Marika and 48-year-old Johnny. They suffer from the neurodevelopmental disorder microcephaly. And while they attend an IHC centre between 9 and 3, he is their full-time caregiver. Mr. Robinson told our reporter Zach Fleming he's battled for more than 18 years to be paid a reasonable wage for caring for his children at home. And yesterday's decision to exclude parents who care for their disabled children is a real slap in the face.
I felt a sense of worthlessness. I just thought, you know, how could they be so mean and so, well, particularly mean-spirited towards us? What have we done wrong? You know, as parents, what have we done wrong? It seems as if the ministry has got a snitcher on the parents for taking a court case and getting just a little bit from the government to look after their sons and daughters. And they have been, ever since we won the case nearly 5 years ago, they've made the position hard. And I can't understand their attitude. Surely they should be rejoicing in what we're doing and say, well, it's a load off our mind, and somehow they think they'd be better off in care, but ask my son and daughter where they'd rather live. And if you go to the Arts Centre, the other people that are in homes always want to talk to me and touch me, you know, because they don't get that. Not that the caregivers are not good, but it's that, you know, they're a bit jealous of the personal hugs and the touches that, you know, I give Rita and Johnny.
You've been fighting this for 18 years now?
This case, really, but I've looked after Rita and Johnny for, Rita's 50 and Johnny's 48.
So this isn't just a feling that you've developed overnight. This is after a lot of conversations with a lot of different observations
people. And I know that, you know, there's no place like home. There's nobody can give my daughter a kiss like I can. There's nobody can give my daughter a hug like I can. I mean, a male caregiver can't give a girl a cuddle. I mean, it's inappropriate these days, you know. Yeah. So, you know, there's those little things that mean so much.
I've put through a couple of questions to the Ministry of Health just earlier to ask if people like you were ever considered for this package yesterday, and if you were, why were you not included? And they replied that the consideration was there, but you weren't included because the current package already exists. So you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I mean, what other group of people in New Zealand is legislated to only get the minimum rate? I mean, I'll put that to the ministry. There is no other group of workers in New Zealand that are condemned to the minimum rate forever. That's what the legislation says. We can't get anything but that. I mean, surely that's indefensible. It's immoral. I mean, I can't understand how the Ministry of Health and members of Parliament can allow this to continue. Why can't they just have an amendment to the Act which takes away that, and then they could give it to us as well as the workers that got it yesterday? I mean, now I'm going to take my son and daughter to the IHC, and their workers are going to get $22 an hour, and then I'm going to bring them home and get $14.75. How much did you say?
$15.75.
$15.75. Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. We don't want an arm and a leg. We don't want double time and sleepovers and anything else. You know, all we want is what other people within the industry are getting. I got in touch with the Human Rights Commission this morning. Holly McGurtha is one of their senior mediators. Unfortunately, she wasn't in, to see if they'll continue the work. It's just a continuing battle, and I mean, we shouldn't have to put our energy into that. You know, my job is to look after Rita and John, and, you know, keep a house and the surroundings that's comfortable and clean for them, not to be worried about fighting the government over a few hours of money. I mean, I'll live without it, but it's always the principle, isn't it? Why should we not get it?
Cliff Robinson talking to our reporter Zach Fleming.